Welcome everybody, my name is Mr. LamSC, and this is my Diablo 2 Basics Guide for character skills and the skill tree. As for all the basics guides, I will start with the following disclaimer. Some of this information is going to be obvious, especially to Diablo 2 veterans, but not everybody is a professional at this game. That being said, Diablo 2 has many details and intricacies that you can always learn something new. The Diablo 2 skill tree is one of my favorite implementations that I've seen in any ARPG. Rather than automatically giving you every skill or only providing a couple of paths, it gives you complete control over your character. With this power comes great responsibility though, and you can very easily screw up a character and render them worthless if you don't plan carefully. The first character I ever made was a summon necro that only put points into summon skeleton and nothing else, not even mastery. He never made it out of Act 2 normal. I will have other guides in the future to cover specific skill builds, but for now I'm going to talk in a broader sense. The 6 skills that every character starts with on their right click are as follows. Use a scroll of town portal, use a scroll of identity, normal attack, throw equipped item, throw a left-handed equipped item, and unsummon a summoned creature. On the left click, you can only get the attack or throw items. This is a common theme that you'll find with a lot of skills. Any support skills, such as frozen armor, burst of speed, curses, auras, and some offensive spells like sentries, blizzard, etc., will only be found on your right click, while most quick damage attack spells will be available on your left click and right click. One advanced tip here is to note that these skills all require casting frames and an animation. This means that they can be interrupted. Sometimes the animation will even go off and it will look like the skill was cast, but it never actually happened due to the interruption happening right before the end. In this case of casting a town portal scroll, this cast animation can actually be the difference between getting a save point to try and get your body and needing to reset your game. When you right-click your Tome of Town Portal / identify in your inventory, it will actually not use the cast animation, and thus will always work 100% of the time and cannot be interrupted. This is why you see me do this often during speedruns. Not only does it save frames needed to cast it, but additionally I know it will drop a town portal no matter what. Every one of these skills can be set to a hotkey. To set up your hotkeys as you desire, simply go into the Options, Configure Controls, and scroll down until you see skill 1, 2, and beyond. You can set up to 16 skill hotkeys. Then to set these, simply open up your skills, hover over the skill you wish to hotkey, and press the selected key. If done correctly, it should place the hotkey letter in the top right corner. Once done, you can easily bounce between your skills. You can also set hotkeys for your left-click skills by simply doing the same actions on these skills. Doing this will make you a much better player, as you'll be able to easily shift between the various skills your character has without having to constantly open up your skills to select which one you want. Taking a look at the skill tree now, there are a few things to note. The first one is the different tiers or positions of the skills. The top skills can be placed into at any level. Next tier is level 6, 12, 18, 24, and finally level 30 for the bottom skills. Every character has 3 tabs, with 10 skills, each ranging throughout the different tiers. Beyond that, there are also prerequisites for most skills as indicated by the arrows. This means that in order to place a skill point in a skill, you need to have at least 1 point in every skill with an arrow leading towards it. These must be hard skill points as well, which means you actually place a skill point into it, and aren't just getting a +1 to that skill from an item, which would be called a soft skill point. When hovering over a skill, it will give the most important information about that skill at the current level and next level, but there are sometimes hidden bonuses not listed. One example of this comes from the Paladin Resist Fire, Cold, and Lightning skills. For each point in the skill, you and your nearby party members and pets will receive a +1 to maximum resist. This is capped at 95%. The Paladin also receives half of the max resistance bonus when the skill is not active. Additionally, skills in the Assassin's Fade skill will also add a physical damage reduction even though it's not listed. There are a few other skills that have these passive bonuses, and if you go look them up online, you can see what they are. Moving on, the maximum hard skill points that you can put into a skill is 20. However, you can go beyond that number by having plus skilled gear, items, or charms. Here you can see my druid has 20 in Hurricane, Tornado, and Cyclone armor, but as I pick up and equip Telling of Beads Amulet and Colwyn's Point, the number goes blue and goes beyond 20. Each one of those adds 1 skill point, so you can see it slowly increment up. The blue text means it's modified by plus to skills from items, gears, or charms. This of course leads to a discussion about synergies, which are a critical part of the game and yet another reason to plan out a skill build from the start. Synergies are skills that boost other skills or that are boosted by other skills. They are listed at the bottom of a skill as receives bonuses from. For every hard skill point in these synergies, the main skill will receive that additional bonus listed. This is what makes something like Blizzard so much more powerful than Frozen Orb in the very late game. While they both do decent damage early on, Blizzard has so many more synergies that it can continue to increase its damage, while Frozen Orb maxes out in half the time. Remember though that only hard points will have an effect here. Beyond synergies, there are additionally masteries in this game that can increase damage. Skills like Summon Mastery, Fire Mastery, and more can increase the damage done. Since these are not listed as synergies, but rather are their own skills, every skill point in these, regardless of whether they are hard points or soft points given by items, will be helpful. One more advanced tip for this video is the interaction in the Druid summoning tree. Despite it listing the summons as synergies for each other, they actually act as passive mastery skills in their interaction. Thus, any plus to skills added to each of these will impact the others. This means that with enough plus summoning druid skills, you can build some really strong summons that can tank in solo hell. And on that note, this Diablo 2 basic skill guide is complete. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I will try to get to them over the next few days. This is Mr. LlamaSC signing off. Shabadaloop!